First of all, sir, your name?
My name is Herman Henderson.
Henderson?
Right.
Okay, and your name?
Dorothy Henderson.
Okay, Dorothy. All right. Tell me a little bit. Let's start out basically at the beginning. Tell me a little bit about this case and what's happened. How this whole thing came about.
He was living in Houston at the time.
Okay, he was your son now. What was his name?
Ronald Taylor.
I'm sorry?
Ronald Taylor.
Ron Taylor?
Ronald
Okay.
Taylor.
Ronald Taylor? Okay. How old was he?
At the time, he was 30. He was
About
34.
34.
Okay. All right. And he was living in Houston, you said?
Yes.
Okay. What transpired during that time, or what happened on this situation?
They had been out, him and this group of people, and this lady, I think, lived in the same project, in the same
Complex.
apartment. And they all had been out, and they had been out to clubs and drinking. And when apparently she thought it was him followed her home, but I guess it was the other guy. And she picked him out of a lineup.
Okay, and he was accused of what, rape?
Rape.
Of rape.
Right.
Okay, so she picked him out of the lineup. They had been together the night before, the night prior to this.
Yeah.
And then she called the police and filed the charges and
Yes.
picked him out of the lineup.
Yes.
Okay, once this happened, tell me kind of the process, what all happened from there.
Okay.
I mean, give me the night from the night. I'm sure he called you right off the bat. Mom, this happened.
No, he didn't.
No,
He didn't. Okay.
No, he
No, he
didn't.
didn't.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, he didn't call me until they took him to jail.
Okay.
And he called me and told me they had arrested him. And jokingly, because he's a happy person, and jokingly he said, "You'll never guess for what." And I said, "No." And he said, "Well, they got me for rape." He said, "Now you know I didn't do that." He said, "You know me and you know I didn't do that." And from that night on, up until now, he have always proclaimed his innocence.
Okay, that happened back, when was that
It
happened?
was 1994.
1994.
1994. I don't remember the month, but it was 1994. But I think it was
Basically almost
Maybe.
13 years
late.
ago.
Yes.
Okay. So, basically, this happened, he was arrested, placed in the Harris County Jail. The court process starts. Tell me a little bit of the court process. I mean, your attorneys, how much time it took, the waiting game, everything else, the cost, the whole bit.
He stayed incarcerated in jail there in Houston for 2 years, waiting for the process. And then finally he called me and told me they had gave him 60 years.
That's kind of hard to take right off the bat, wasn't it?
Yes.
It was extremely
It's extremely hard.
What was your feeling when you heard the 60 years?
Well, when he told me they had gave him 60 years, I said to him, I said, "Well, I probably won't ever see you again." Because I at the time, did not go to prisons at all. I didn't go visit nobody in prison. And I said to him, I said, "I probably will never see you again." And he said, "Yes, you will, because I'm going to get out because I didn't do it." He said, "I'm going to get out." And I just believed him, and I had faith in God. And I've been praying every night and every day that the Lord would let him come home. Let him, if he was innocent, come home. And it happened. Because I'm a firm believer in the power of prayer.
Okay. Now, this happened back in 94. How long did the court system take? I mean, how long before they actually convicted him?
It was over a year.
It was over a year.
Was it a trial they went through, or?
They went through
Yes,
a trial.
yes.
Okay.
He chose a trial. They
Okay.
offered him a plea for 5 years.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And he
And
refused,
he refused it.
And he refused the plea for 5 years. He
Yes.
decided to go ahead and fight
He
it
said
at trial.
He wasn't guilty, and he wasn't going to admit to something he didn't do.
What did he think his chances were at trial? He thought he had a good attorney, good witnesses, or what?
Well,
He thought he did.
thought he did.
He honestly thought he had a good lawyer
Okay.
that was really working for him.
Okay, let me switch over to you for just 1 second here. Just kind of change up a little bit here. Get you in this. Okay. All right, there we go. Okay, so he thought he had a good
He
lawyer,
thought he
good
had
chance.
lawyer, yes.
Okay.
Good chance of beating it because he knew he was innocent. So he just felt that they wouldn't convict him of something that he didn't do.
What about costs involved? I mean, you had to look at some costs. I mean, getting an attorney and everything else was tough. He had to go through court-appointed attorney.
Had to go to court-appointed attorney, but it was cost involved because we had to do for him while he stayed in jail 2 years.
Okay, he was incarcerated for 2 years.
Yeah.
Tell me, okay, when you first found out about this, I know you. Tell me a little bit of the process. You had to try to find an attorney. Tell me what you're running into. What kind of roadblocks?
Well, we talked.
Just kind of roll the costs involved. What these attorneys wanted. What they're telling you. What their feelings were on this.
We talked to a couple of attorneys, and both of them was something like $50,000 just to even take the case. That did not include the other costs of it. It was starting off at least, the two attorneys we talked to was starting off $50,000, which we could not afford.
So he went to trial and with a court-appointed attorney and said no. He was offered a plea bar. The DA, was it Rosenthal at the time, or was it still Johnny Holmes was back in there, right?
I think Johnny Holmes was
Okay,
there.
so tell me a little bit about that. Tell me how the DA, what did he talk to you at all about what the DA had offered?
Yes, he called me and told me that the DA had asked him to take a plea bargain for 5 years. And at the time, things wasn't looking so good, so I said to him, I said, well, maybe that's the best thing to do. And he said, no, ma'am, I'm not going to take it. He said, I'm innocent. He said, I'm not going to take it because if I take it, then I'll have to, report and all this. So he just flat refused it.
Okay, Now, once they gave him the 60 years, what was his comment to you? I mean, you said you didn't think you'd see him again. He said he was innocent. What was his feeling emotionally through this time? You got letters from him. I'm sure you got phone calls.
Yeah.
What were you hearing from that?
Well, he always believed that he would be cleared of it. He just always believed that he would be cleared of it.
Yes, he had talked to several lawyers while he was in there.
Hang on just a second. Let me back over you, sir. Okay, go ahead.
So he had talked to a couple of lawyers while he was incarcerated, and they had given him some prices, and he got with us about it. He said, well, I don't want you guys to, I know you can't afford it, so I don't want you guys to put it in anything. So it'll work out.
Now, you had contacted who was it? You had it was you that, back and forth here.
Now,
Okay, tell me about you had found, after this, you'd found an attorney through where you work, you had found an attorney up in Austin. Tell me a little bit about what he wanted, what he did, and then the long drawn out process. You didn't hear from him, then how you found out why you didn't hear from him.
Yeah, well, my husband actually was the one contacted him.
Okay.
And this lady.
Okay. So he basically. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
This lady that I knew from working up at the county jail, she knew him, and she was the one that informed us that he had died. But it was some 2 years later.
So you thought all this process was taking place?
Yes.
And nothing there at all?
We heard from him twice, and he had...
Hang on a second.
We heard from that...
Hang on just 1 second, sir. Let me... Oh, okay.
We heard from him.
You basically contact this attorney. Tell me what the attorney requested, what he was wanting from you, and what he said he could do, and then
he wasn't
nothing. Not hearing from him.
He was going to do it on the cuff, I guess. And he said he could get him out, and then after he got out and go through the pardon process, that they would get a settlement from the state, and he would get his fee out of that.
Okay.
And he told me we had a good case, that looking at his transcript, that all he needed was a DNA. And it had already been ordered, so all he had to do was just file for it.
Now tell me a little about DNA. Judge Collins had actually, in the proceedings during trial, had ordered this, didn't he?
Yes.
Okay, tell me, just elaborate a little bit. Tell me a little bit about that.
She ordered it. She ordered his DNA to be taken, but he never received it.
Did they say why, or was it?
No.
Was that Houston or Harris County Crime Lab at the time, or?
Yes.
Houston. Okay.
Yes.
So they went to trial without even a DNA then. They had no DNA to go to trial with. No DNA. Okay. Now, once you found out that this attorney passed away, what was the next step there?
I contacted the Innocence Project. I wrote Attorney Jamel there in Houston.
Hang on a second. I'm trying between the two of you here.
Yeah.
I forget his first name.
Okay, go ahead. Start if you would start again.
But
So just tell me what the process was there.
I wrote Jamal, emailed Jamal, Attorney Jamal, which he had advertised that he would take cases like that.
Okay.
And I never got an answer from him. But evidently he forwarded the information I'd given him to Innocence Project. So when I did contact them, they said they already had some of my papers. And they took off from there.
Now, when was this that Innocence Project picked this case up?
I guess it was, I'm going to say 6 years ago.
Okay, and what has transpired in those 6 years?
Well, they've worked it. They've come down and did discovery and file discovery and stuff, and they had a backup, so it taking a lot of time. So I was pretty impatient, but I had to learn patience with them. You know, after my stroke, I had a stroke in '98, so I was disabled for a while. I couldn't even walk for about 2 years. So after that, then I got back into it. And they've worked really well with us. They've informed us of everything that's going on. And I think we heard from them every month. Okay. Every month.
Let me ask you. Okay, Thing's mother. I mean, for years, all this process was going on. Waiting for this attorney for 2 years, not hearing a thing. Then project is coming in another 6 years. Were you getting letters from your son on a regular basis? And what kind of?
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that. What kind of letters were you getting? What was his feeling during this whole time?
Basically, I got letters from him, and I went to see him. I did go see him several times, and he was always on the upbeat about it. He was never real sad. He was always on the upbeat. His health started to get bad while he was in there, and I'm sure that was from stress. Because when he went in, he did not have diabetes. He did not have high blood pressure. And he developed all this stuff. And his health started to get bad, but every time he would write me or every time I'd go see him, he was always upbeat. He was never just really sad. He never one time said that he didn't think he was going to get out. Never said it. He always would say, I'm going to get out. He was very upbeat about it. And it was terribly hard on me because during that time of those years, I lost 5 sisters and 3 brothers. And so with all of that added to what was going on, it was a little hard, but by the grace of God, because like I said, I believe in prayer. And I just always prayed every day that it would come to pass.
Now, when did you find out? When did you get something, or how were you notified about the? Hang on just 1 second. Reset this again. Okay. When did you first find out the outcome of this, or who called you and says, "Hey, this is what's going on"?
Well, they called, and I wasn't here. I was at work, so they talked to my husband.
They talked to you first on it?
Yeah.
Okay, hang on. Okay, let's switch back over to you then. Okay. All right, tell me how this came about. What kind of, what were you doing and you get a phone call? Tell me about it.
I was probably on the computer, I would imagine, but anyway, his attorney called me and told me that things were looking really good, that they had found a match for the DNA. They hadn't matched it with a person yet. See, but they had found a match, and his match was negative. Well, first they called and told us that he had a negative match for the DNA that they had. And then she called me again and told me about they had found a match. And about 2 days later, she called me back, which was last Friday. She called me and told me that they had matched the DNA. The guy was in TDC serving time on something else, and he had a history of doing these things. And he said that the D had called her that morning and said they had went out and re-interviewed the victim to see if she had had any contact with this guy. I showed him a picture, And she said no, she hadn't had any contact with him. She didn't even know the guy. So they said, well, so the attorney said, I don't think they'll have any problem admitting that of his innocence. He said, probably in 3 weeks we'll know something for sure.
Okay, this was last Friday?
That was last Friday.
Okay. So what's transpired since then?
They called us Monday.
Monday.
Called us
Since Monday, they've been constantly
They've been calling every day since
Monday. Who's been talking to him mostly since Monday? You, both of y'all, or?
Both of us.
Both of us mainly.
Okay,
I've talked to him several times.
Okay, you said, now, who was it that called Monday? Who called Monday? Was it the...
Nina
Morris.
Nina Morris.
Which is...
His attorney.
Okay, tell me what was said.
She said it's a go. So we're on the way. So we've got everything going. And the DA is really working with us. So he's really working with us. So I know we don't have any problem because the DA's office has been calling us constantly. And she said probably in 3 weeks he'll be home. So we get the process now. So we're really working on it. So the DA's office is really working with us now.
Okay.
Yeah.
When did your son find? Has he found out yet? Have you talked to him?
Yeah, she's called him. She's called him and told him. Called his girlfriend and told her.
Yeah, he has a fiance that lives in Atlanta, and she has constantly,
She's been calling him.
She have hope a lot with it.
And how's she been coping with this through the whole thing?
Well, she lives in Atlanta, so she been here once or twice, and she seemed to be doing pretty good with it.
She come down for vacations and gone to visit him during her vacation.
Which unit is he on?
He's on Cofield now.
Cofield? Okay. So have you gotten any letters yet?
I have not got a letter from him.
No, not in a couple of weeks.
Okay. You're expecting one any day, I'm sure.
I'm expecting a call from him.
Yeah, he'll probably get a call.
Okay.
Normally, when he gets news like this, the chaplain will let him call, but they haven't done it.
Let me ask you first on this. What is your feeling? I mean, they arrest him one night. Hey, you've raped this woman. They arrest him. They throw him in jail. He's in jail for 2 years before he's even really convicted. He's given 60-year sentence. All this process is going on for the whole period of time. Hey, we're working on to try to free you, everything else. Now the DA says, hey, maybe 3 weeks. They arrest him in one night, and it takes 3 weeks to release him. What's your feeling on that?
That makes me angry.
Hang on. Okay.
That makes me angry.
Hang on just a second. Okay, go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
I cannot understand why, if he's innocent, why they don't let him come home.
Just what? Just kind of elaborate a little bit. What do you, as far as what? Just.
I tell you, I'm a forgiving person, but it just makes me angry that he has to sit in there 3 more weeks or a month or whatever for them to decide to let him go home. But I know everything takes time, as they say. They keep telling me, well, it takes time. We've got procedures we have to go through, and I understand that, but it still makes me angry.
What do you think if it went for Project Innocence? What do you think? I mean, the whole 60 years, or having to wait for parole?
He would have died in prison.
Yeah, he would have died in prison because he said he wasn't gonna take a parole. He just wasn't gonna accept it. Because he didn't want. But like he said, if I go on parole, said I have to arrest as a sex offender. I'll never be able to get a job or anything. He said I'll just have to skip. I'll be honest with you.
Now, even now, I mean, he's released. This tag's still going to be on him, even though it's cleaned and everything else.
Until he can get a pardon from the government.
Hang on just a second. Okay, go ahead. I had my voice going. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, he'll have his tag on him until he can get a pardon from the governor.
Okay, well, I mean, even after the pardon from the governor, I mean, everyone's still going to say, hey, you were this, you were that. You think he'll easily overcome something like that?
I think he can. He's a strong person. I think he can. It's difficult. Very difficult.
So any plans, or what do you, when he gets out, any plans between y'all? What, seeing him, going to pick him up? Tell me.
We're going to pick him up. We'll be there.
We're going for the
Our
healing.
pastor will be there, and some of the family members will be there, and we're going to bring him home.
Okay, so they're going to they'll release him from court.
Yes, that's what we're told.
Supposedly on the 12th.
The 12th of this month.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what kind of work was he doing prior to this?
He was doing construction.
Can he pretty well stay with that, or now
I
with his
don't know
health?
if he's able with his health, because he has a real serious diabetes problem now, and hypertension as well.
He's insulin dependent now.
And wasn't before.
So I don't know if he'll be able to work outside anymore.
I don't think he have any doctor records at all. He's never sick before. So I don't know if it's just all the stress or what, but he's insulin dependent.
Okay. Let me ask you first, and then I'm going to go to your husband there. You as a mother, I mean, you get a phone call night, Mom, I've just been arrested for sexual assault or for rape. You think the worst at first, but you know your son, you know his innocence. Tell me, what's it like having to cope with something like that, and then knowing he's innocent and what's going on with this?
I think it's been difficult. I think it's been difficult for him, and it also for me. But I'm.
You need to get that.
No.
Go ahead, if you would start that over again.
Okay, it's been difficult for him. I know it has. He don't let on to me that it does, because he don't want me to worry about it, and it's been very difficult for me. I'm a private person, and I don't really talk a lot about my problems. I just feel that I just tell Jesus about it and let it go. I don't tell a lot of people. I have a lot of people that's going to be very surprised to know this. A lot of close relatives, as a matter of fact. But I'm just a private person, and I don't see where it would help for everybody to know. So I just kept telling Jesus about it, and I let it alone.
What would you say to another mother coming up with the same situation? How would you tell another mother to handle something like this?
I would tell her to just be patient and just depend on God. Just depend on God. Don't depend on your sisters. Don't depend on your family. Depend on God. Because He certainly will answer prayer. I'm a witness of that.
All right.
Just depend on God.
All right, sir. Same question for you. As a father, you get the phone call. Your son's been arrested for sexual assault. You know your son. You've known him for years. You know he's not capable of it. And now you've got him in jail. He's going through the court process. Friends, family, everything else. Tell me how you coped with it. And
it's very difficult. It's very difficult. But you have to continue to talk in prayer. And you have to try to do your research and see if you can find help somewhere. You sure do. You have to research it. Because I've spent a lot of hours on the computer trying to find different places to do, because we just didn't have the resources to pay for a lawyer.
Okay. And same question to you, what would you say to a father gets this news, son's, just give up or work with it?
You have to work with him. You have to know your children to start with. And you have to believe in his innocence. But I knew that Ronnie wasn't lying, because he's been in trouble before, and he's always just accepted his punishment, and when we knew anything, it was all over with. You know, he'd be in trouble, and he'd never tell us.
Okay. Hang on. Tell me, what was your son like growing up? High school, college, anything like that?
Went to high school, and he finished high school, and he went in the Navy. But the main thing I would like to tell all parents: don't ever give up on your children. No matter what they do, don't give up on them. Always be there for them. I've always told my children, I don't care what you do, you always got a home. As long as I have a home, you have a home. And just don't ever give up on your children. Sometimes they make you want to, but don't ever give up on your children.
And fathers will turn their backs quicker than mothers will.
I'm sorry.
Hang
on. I like that. Go ahead. Hang on just a second here. Okay. Go ahead, sir. What were you saying?
I said fathers will turn their back on their children quicker than their mothers will. And that's a fact. A father will give up and say, well, that's his problem or something like that. And I come close to it a couple of times, but then I knew by him continuing to saying he was innocent, that he was telling the truth. I just knew it.
Your feeling now? I mean, he's getting ready to come home. What's your feeling?
I feel that he's going to get back out here and go to work and do good. I believe that.
What about, you think this weight's going to be with him for a while? I mean, having to get back used to...
Oh, yes, he has a lot of adjustments to do. A lot of adjustments. But we have enough family support. I think that'll help him a whole bunch.
Okay. Ian, what about you, man? I mean, him coming home now, what do you think? I mean...
I think he'll do good. I think we're a close-knit family, and we have a large family, so I think he'll do good. I think he'll do good. Possibly not here, but I think he'll do good.
You plan to recommend him stay out of Harris County?
Yes.
Well, I think he's got his mind to get out of Texas, period.
Yeah.
What have you seen? Okay, but between both of y'all could comment. What have you seen on the over all this period of time, everything you've gone through, the Texas justice system? I mean, you mentioned Texas. You hear that all the time. What about the Texas justice system?
I just don't know. The book's still open on them. I want to believe in them because I'm a great supporter of law enforcement and firefighters. You know, they do an incredible job. But, you know, the system is just flawed.
What about the district attorney actually taking up and saying, hey, let's go with this, instead of just sitting there, no, you're wrong, or something like that?
I don't know. I don't know what to say.
Well, as for me, I prayed for the district attorney too.
Yeah, I think Rosenthal is, you know.
And I don't.
He goes by the book, from what I understand. All that I know, he goes by the book, and so if he had the evidence to go with it, I'm sure he went with it. You know that.
I don't hold any
I don't
malice
think
against anybody.
he did it wrongfully. It's just a case that was. You know, they had our witness. The lady identified him, and that's hard. That's hard to go above that.
Okay. All right. Okay. Okay.
Come out together. When we come out together? No.
And just walk away. Just walk over toward me if you would. I'm just